Yes, so let's solve this once and for all. So I have booted up my Ubuntu 20.04. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to fire up my terminal. So first, let me add my terminal to the favorites. So I'll right click my terminal, then add to favorites. Okay. So once I do that, my terminal will be added to this favorites bar. Then I'll click on it to start my terminal. Before you do anything else, please you need to ensure that this terminal has some good font size. So you'll right click on our terminal, go to custom font. Just click on the font that is available. Let's give our font a size of 20. Right. Once you're done with that, this is how it will look like. You realize that our screen is so small. Let's try and also make our screen big, so that when you present your screen, it fits the display that we have before you do anything else. So again, you right click on the desktop, go to display settings. You realize here that we have quite a number of resolutions. So right click here. I would recommend that you choose this particular screen size, which is 1920 by 1080p. So let's choose this resolution and then apply this resolution. So we have applied the resolution. Let's try to maximize now our window. We can see that our display or our window fits the screen that we have. So let's fire up our terminal once again. Let's bring it up. And what we are going to do is, so you realize that also this particular favorites bar does not auto hide when we have fired up our terminal. So let's try to make this favorites bar to hide when we open our terminal, so that we can just look at our terminal alone. So for that, you will need to go to settings. So right click on your empty desktop area, and let's go to settings. Once you're done with that, once we are at the setting, you can go to appearance. On appearance, we can see that we have the dock here. So the dock is this favorite area. So that is the dock. So we want to make sure that that particular dock hides when any of the windows overlap with it. So our terminal has overlapped with the dock. So let's make sure it auto hides. So let's click on auto hide. Okay. So you can as well choose to position the dock on the bottom or wherever pleases you. So for mine, I prefer it to be at the bottom. So let that dock be positioned at the bottom. So once I'm done with that, I'll close this one up and open the terminal once again. You realize now that terminal window as when we hover around this, that we cannot see our dock. So it has now that auto hide feature. If you want to go back to our terminal, you can just press the Windows key, so that it can bring all the windows. If you want to go back to maybe some other programs, or alternatively, you can just minimize this one up. Okay. So let's do whatever we want to do. So I have made our terminal big enough. So the first command we are going to do is to run sudo apt. So we said the Linux command line is case sensitive, so ensure we use this the small case. So sudo apt update, that is the first command we are going to run to ensure that we update our repositories. So sudo apt update, and let's run that first. Give it our password. So you realize we have an error in the repositories that we have for this particular machine. So let's find our workaround for this. So the first thing I suspect is the pointers, which have now been specific to the available repositories for Kenya from the look of this particular links here. So we're going to, so let's use the graphical way to solve this one. Again, open the menu with show applications, and I need you to go to software and update. So open this up, software and update. All right. So you can see that we have quite a lot of options here. So we have Ubuntu software. These are the sources from where our Ubuntu software points to. We can see that we have some other software sources that are listed here. What is of interest to us is the sources which are specific to this particular error. So these are the sources specific to the repositories which are used in Kenya. So let's try to change this particular Ubuntu software source from server for Kenya to main server. So once we select main server, we will need to put our password again. So we are done with that. Can close this one up. Okay. So when you close it, it will prompt you to reload this information. You reload the software cache. Let's give it a bit of some time to run. Let's give it some time to run so that we can go to the next step. Okay. Can go to the next step. So Linux is pretty easy. You just have to ensure that you follow whatever I'm saying and use the specified syntax. All right, so as the software cache is being refreshed, I'm going to give it a minute or so. All right, so that window has disappeared. So it means our software cache has refreshed. So let's try to rerun that command once again. So the command, you can just use the up key, the up arrow. So let's rerun that command again. So this time around, we have a hit. So our package list has refreshed, and so does our repositories. Again, remember that we downloaded Ubuntu 20.04. We don't want to upgrade this distribution to any latest Ubuntu distribution. I need you to get me clear on this. We are not trying to upgrade this distribution to the latest. distribution. So please let's avoid running the upgrade command, since some of these latest distributions come at a cost of the system resources. So since we have updated our repositories, right, there is no need for us to upgrade those 309 packages as displayed on my end. Okay, because if you go ahead and upgrade your packages, your Ubuntu will be upgraded to the latest one that we have in the market, which requires a lot of system resources. So let's try to install those softwares which we those particular packages which we were installing in class. So the first one is sudo apt install sudo apt install. We were installing what was the software? We were installing Figlet. So let's try to run the command Figlet first. So you get an error that the command is not found because that package which supports the command Figlet has not been installed here. But again, the Linux command line throws a hint at us with some information on how we can go around that. So let's go ahead. So please, let's avoid using the snap way of installing software on Ubuntu. Let's stick with the command line. Let's stick with the package manager, that is the apt. So let's install this. So sudo apt install Figlet. So it has fetched Figlet and successfully installed Figlet. So let's run the command Figlet again. So we can see that that prompt tries to, I would say, hang at that point because the command Figlet requires some sort of option or argument to execute. So at this point, it will stick at that point because it is waiting for this command to be successfully run. It has to be run alongside an argument or an option. So to go about this is to press at the same time Control C to get out of this point or prompt. So when we do Control C, we will be able to get our now command line, our terminal prompt. So let's run this command called clear to clear our terminal. And let's run now our command Figlet together with an argument. So we can say Figlet. Let's try Figlet Ubuntu. Ubuntu is working. Okay, so you can see that although our characters have overlapped, let's just say Ubuntu 1. So we can see that that particular package is working. Okay, so you have already installed Figlet. The other thing we were discussing is how to remove that particular package. So we said with the remove command, we're just removing the package alone from our system, but the settings will be retained. So if you go ahead and execute this command, sudo apt remove Figlet, it will remove this package from my system, but the settings will be persistent. They remain in our system. So if we have to completely get rid of this package from our system, we'll have to execute the command sudo apt purge and then the name of the particular package which we need to purge from our system. So again, here we do sudo apt purge, okay, then we say figlet, okay. So when we execute that command, we will have a prompt here, a yes or no prompt, which now requires action. So you can go ahead and say yes by just entering Y on your keyboard, and you enter that. Alternatively, when you're installing a program, when you're upgrading your system, you might have a lot of these prompts, yes or no prompts. So you ought to be in a position to just make things easy for you during any installation or any removal of the packages from your system. So let's first get out of this prompt by pressing Ctrl C. We want to do things automatically, right? So you can just run the up key or the up arrow again to retrieve our previous command, but we are going to add something special here. So we are going to add -y. So -y is an option to tell the system that we are saying yes to all of those prompts, yes or no prompts, which will pop up. So as opposed to maybe saying yes to each and every yes or no prompts, which will pop up during this particular purging of this particular package from our system, we are just telling the system to say yes to all of those. So we'll do -y option. So as you can see, we will not be able to do anything else. It will be automatic that the system will execute everything. With the option of -y, we have simply told our system to say yes to all of those prompts. So we are done with that. The next thing I want us to do is I want us to download another window from our Ubuntu. So for us to do that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ensure that you have made a snapshot of your Ubuntu machine. So the first thing you're going to do, let's reboot Ubuntu. So you can use the command sudo reboot. You can enter so that our Ubuntu system reboots. Why are we rebooting? We are rebooting so that we can take a snapshot of our current image, Ubuntu image or virtual machine. Okay, so it has already rebooted, but what I'm interested in, sorry about that. So we want to power it off completely. So you can just go through this option and power it off completely so that we can be in a position to take a snapshot. So let's power it off. Okay, so we have successfully powered off our Ubuntu. We can start it up again. And start it up again. Yes, we can start it up again. So all right, so okay, I'm sure we should first take a snapshot. I'm sure I've not done that. So just allow me to power it off and do it again. Let's hang on a little bit. Let's hang on a little bit. Okay. All right, so open our Ubuntu again. So before we power it on, let's take a snapshot. Go to we'll go to this option on our VM, which we want to take a snapshot. Go to the snapshot option, then click take. So we'll give our snapshot a name. So we'll say Ubuntu, Ubuntu snapshot. So we'll give it a description. So Ubuntu working installation with a few changes made. We've made some few changes, so you can just put a description that Ubuntu working installation with a few changes made. The reason why we are doing a snapshot is to make it easy for us to restore our virtual machine from when we get into errors. So we do that to take a snapshot. Once you're done with that, we can go to switch to our details, and we can start our Ubuntu machine once again. Okay. So our Ubuntu is booting up. Our Ubuntu is booting up. A tip, another extra tip or an extra request, please do not upgrade this Ubuntu distribution since it is not resource hungry. So let's log in. Right, we have successfully logged in. Let's try to open the terminal. So we have successfully launched our terminal. So what we're going to do, we've said we are going to install another lightweight desktop environment for this Ubuntu. So for us to confirm the desktop environment, we have to look at the environment variables. So environment variables allow us to customize the environment on which some of our packages are running. So we execute the env command. So the env command will display all the list of the variables that we have for our Ubuntu machine. So I need you to ignore a lot of this output. We are only interested one variable here, which is this particular variable, xdg current desktop. We can see that our Ubuntu desktop environment is the GNOME desktop environment. So the GNOME desktop environment has some advantages of being intuitive, right? But it comes at a cost of our system resources. So we need to be in a position where we can execute our tasks successfully and to make our Ubuntu VM quite responsive. So we are going to install another desktop environment. So the second part of this particular exercise, we are going to install XFCE. So sudo apt install XFCE. Let's have a minute. XFCE for this. Sudo x apt install XFCE goodies, then XFCE4, then we'll do -5, all those prompts. So our packages are downloading. Our packages are downloading. All right, so this is the most important part of this second step. A configuration, package configuration window will pop up. Okay, so with this particular window, once it pops up, okay, you can just hit tab on your keyboard. So we have a prompt that multiple display managers can be run simultaneously. Okay, so we are interested in only choosing one display manager. So you can just say okay. So after you have said okay to the first prompt, so I'll need you to toggle between these two display managers. So the display manager that goes with our XFCE window is the light display manager. All right. So the GNOME desktop environment, it uses the GNOME desktop manager, but with our XFCE desktop environment, it uses the light desktop manager. So kindly ensure that you have selected the light desktop manager. This is the important part of this installation. Once you get it wrong here, you'll have to restore from the snapshot and rerun that command again. So once you have selected the light desktop manager, you'll hit enter. Then it will start to configure the light desktop manager for our desktop environment. So you have said the XFCE leans towards, or rather uses, the light desktop manager. So in that pop-up or output window, ensure that you have selected the light desktop manager. We have successfully installed that. So if you can see the setting up Unity greeter, that is the last statement. So it means we have successfully set up our XFCE desktop environment. We are going to reboot. Sudo reboot, hit enter. Sudo reboot, hit enter. We have just rebooted our machine. We have rebooted our machine. So as you can see, our window has changed, right? It is not the same as the other logon window, which we are used to. So before you enter your password, I need you to toggle to this Ubuntu logo. So toggle to this Ubuntu logo. So we have the default desktop environment for Ubuntu, which we've said that is the GNOME desktop environment. We have Ubuntu on Wayland, which is another window. And then we have the XFCE session. I'll need you to select the XFCE session. Once you've selected the XFCE session, you can now give your password, login. So let's log in with our password. So as you can see, our window has completely changed. Okay, this is not the Ubuntu window which we saw when we started this process. Our window has completely changed, as you can see here. That our window has completely changed. So it means we have successfully installed our XFCE desktop environment. So first of all, let's try to make our display quite big. So let's go to So for us to make our display big, we can go to setting. Okay, go to setting, then you can go to display. I'll need to make sure we choose the resolution which will adapt to our window. So I've said we are going to go with 1920 by 1080, and then ensure you hit apply and keep the configuration and close this window up. So as you can see, we can now be able to navigate this desktop environment easily. It is now very responsive. Okay, it is very responsive. So that dash window that we were seeing, which is synonymous with the GNOME window, is no longer available. We just have a menu here with a couple of our menu options. So here we have our file. Here we have our options for this quick launcher. So we have our terminal here. We have our file manager, all right, and then we have our browser here. So you can quickly launch that, and as such, you can see that it is easy to navigate this window since it is the fastest window. So it is now becoming more responsive to launch the terminal, also to perform some other functions. So we have come to the end of this by installing our XFCE window. So what we are going to do next, we are going to shut down. We can do that. We can do that on the command line. So we can just say shut down. So if we give it the command sudo shutdown now, it will just power off immediately. The second thing we are going to do is to take a snapshot. Remember, with any big change, we are going to take a snapshot so that we do not, we are in a position to perform an easy restore. So since our Ubuntu is working, we can just take a snapshot. So you can say Ubuntu snapshot 2. You can just say working system and XFCE window installed. Then you can say okay. Right, you can say okay. And then that is it. So we will be able to boot up from our XFCE desktop environment. Let's confirm that. So we can see that our logon window has completely changed from the previous one. So automatically when you will be rebooting your system, it will start the XFCE window. So that is it for this tutorial.